Hello and welcome to the 9 to 5 CEO podcast. I'm one half Tremaine, aka the 9 to 5 landlord.
And I'm Zena Dixon, aka Zena Dixon Inc.
And today we got a special guest. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Peace, what's good? It's Cousin Nita. I'm a real estate investor and home inspector from Cleveland, Ohio. 216 in the house.
In the house. Weekend, Miss Nita, what is going on?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, what is good this weekend? What is going on? I know you stay busy.
Yeah, a lot going on this weekend. I actually have had a couple of home inspectors to come into the city this weekend to sit down with me and kind of discuss what we can all do to just bring about some change and some improvements. And so yesterday I was meeting with home inspectors. This morning I was and a little bit this evening as well. Just building, trying to see how we can create impact.
Dope.
Awesome.
Dope. That's dope. Well, to take it back from the roots, kind of talk about your upbringing. Like, were you around a lot of entrepreneurs, investors, or was it kind of something that kind of was just like, intuition?
Yeah, no, I didn't grow up around any investors. I grew up with my mom and my grandma, and they were both workers. I grew up in Akron. I'm actually born and raised in Akron. So every day I saw my grandma get up and go to work. She retired from the city of Akron with 30 years service. My mom also did that. She later went on to become a social worker. But no, I didn't grow up around any investors, any entrepreneurs, although I knew that I was going to be one at an early age. I didn't know how, it was going to come about, but I knew that I kind of wanted to do my own thing. I wanted unlimited earning potential, and I didn't want nobody telling me what to do. So I knew that was my path early on.
Dope. So I know that you started in wholesaling. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you got into that?
Yeah, so excuse me. I didn't have any money. My credit was terrible. And I saw my guy, Mark Whitten from Baltimore, talking about wholesaling one night, just scrolling on World Stars. It was like 10 years ago. Saw him talking about it. And that was my first kind of like introduction to it. Started doing some research. Found a gentleman by the name of Sean Terry and some other people that I found who were like had their wholesaling operations going on. And so I just started, it was like, I remember kind of like just having a talk with myself, and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to get rich from this, or I'm going to like literally drive myself crazy trying, because I was just like, there's nothing else that if you don't have a lot of money, your credit's not together, but if you work super hard, that you can really make it bubble. And I've always been a hard worker. I've always been like a hustler at heart. Like, whatever need to be done, I'm gonna do it. And so like that, my personality kind of like matched really well with wholesaling at the time. And so that's what I did. I just started, and I know everybody now, they made $100,000 on their first deal in 90 days and all of that, but that wasn't my story. You know what I'm saying? It took me months to get my first deal. And but after that, it was over with. Like, I just stayed down. I would say it took me a few years to get to a point where I was doing like consistently, 2-3 deals a month, $10,000-$20,000 a month. And I just kept building from there. And one of the things that I wanted to do more so than wholesaling was to build a portfolio. I was like, I don't have anything. I don't own nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I die today, ain't nobody gonna be arguing about nothing because I don't have anything. And so it was really important to me to build a portfolio. I was also a renter here in Cleveland. And so, I dealt with some how shall I say, unsavory landlords, if you will. And so it was kind of like, that was also important to me. I promise, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be a landlord and I'm not gonna act like these people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna run my business, but I'm gonna be a human and, try to look out for my people as much as I could. So all of that was like really important to me. So once I got the wholesaling together, I immediately went into, the portfolio building process.
That's dope. I love that you said that you wanted to be a different type of landlord, because a lot of people get into this space and they just want to keep it status quo. And it's like, you can't, like, you really, really need to be an ethical landlord. You need to be, moving out here differently and making sure that, the people are happy where they staying. I mean, they are paying the mortgage, they are making you rich. So at the least you could do is give them a nice place to stay and respond to them when they need something. So I'm so glad you said that, because that's the move right there, because they'll stay with you forever if you treat them good.
Indeed.
So, and I'm also glad that you said that you was getting properties for yourself, because I know a lot of people that wholesale and they don't have no property. They just like the churn of, getting the money at the end of the day. But it's just like, but what are you building for yourself? You come across these deals, like they're like, you can't turn it away. But so I'm glad that you said that. So are you still wholesaling, or you totally done with that?
No, so I still have it going. It's like, again, it took me so long to get it, like, and when I say get it together, I mean like to where it was automated, to where marketing was going on without me, and lead generation and closing deals and all that kind of stuff. So I still have it going. I don't have it, I'm not doing as much marketing as I was before. But yeah, I'll probably never turn that off, just because it's already up and running and there's really no reason to turn it off. But I'll never, like, I'm not, people like always act like, oh my God, I love real estate, and real estate is just, it's like, I didn't feel like that. Like, I needed some money. I needed to make some money. I was broke. I needed to make some money, and I needed to have, I needed ownership. I needed to feel like I had my place in this world, my piece of, and that's what I needed. And so that was my goal. And as I started, once I got that together, then my next goal was service. I've always been a servant at heart and wanting to be of service and help to my people, but I knew that I had to get my money first. So once I had kind of established that, then I was able to kind of like transition over into like more service-based type things. But yeah, I never was in love or like that with real estate, with wholesaling. I'm just, I use whatever vehicle I need to get to where I'm trying to go.
Right, right.
Dope.
Now
So
I'll mess up the funk show of the podcast. Do it.
no,
Y'all don't need me to love real estate.
no. It's a hustle. So, Anita, question I have for you is, so a lot of times when wholesalers first start, they're kind of inconsistent with their deals as far as them coming in at first, and then once they get consistent, they might not be as good as managing the money. What do you think was the difference with you as far as being like, you know what, I got this money, but I'm about to allocate this towards something on my own, as opposed to just blowing it off and being back in the same position of needing a deal?
I mean, we don't get it twisted. I blew money too. Like, I just feel like when you like you asked me, did you grow up with entrepreneurs, with investors? No, I didn't. So we weren't having conversations about what to do with lump sums of money and credit and budgeting and investing. We weren't having those types of conversations. So when I did start to get some money that I ain't never had this, I want certain things, it did get me. I'll keep it a buck with you. The thing that kept me going was what people do is on the wholesaling is they get that first couple of deals and they start spending the money and they stop working. See, me, I was spending the money, but I was still working. I was still marketing. And so I still had stuff going, building my pipeline. For the last, I can't tell you how many years I've had my pipeline going, like just deals to be had. Some deals I wholesale just because I don't feel like paying attention to analyzing and all that. It's like, just give me the quick 7,000. It will be on the, something else. So I did go through that. But again, one thing that I always did was once I got into wholesaling and started marketing and started working in business, I never stopped that. And then I did get to a point where I realized that I don't want to do this forever, because that's another trap that people get caught up in is they turn wholesaling into a job. It's a job. You know what I mean? It's like wholesaling is never, I remember a few years ago, there was like this big craze of like these people talking about building these wholesaling businesses and operations and getting offices and hiring all these people and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just thinking like, that don't make any sense, because everybody who's been successful at wholesaling knows you use that as a stepping stone. And then you end up going to other strategies because wholesaling is a job. You know what I mean? So once I, again, started realizing realizing I don't want to do this for forever. I want to own the properties and all that kind of stuff. It got easier for me to, and then it's like, you can see, like, I make money and then I go and buy a house. So now it's like, dang, like I'm seeing this money turn into like an actual tangible house. It started getting easier for me to develop my investor mindset.
That's dope. That's dope. So I know that you are now an inspector. You like got a course. You want people, especially from our community, to be in that space, because every time I'm looking for an inspector, they're all white men, just to be honest. And I love the fact that you're leading the charge to open this up to our community. So can you talk about how you got into inspecting, and then how did it snowball into what it is now?
So I got into inspecting based off of that, my wholesale business, because again, I was doing so much volume that for myself and for my clients, I was always referring them to home inspectors. And the home inspectors, I didn't always feel like we're doing a great job. And then the people that my clients, they were like kind of like holding me responsible. And I was like, hold the hell up, like that doesn't make any sense. So that's what kind of put becoming a home inspector on my radar. So crazy. It's like I had been dealing with inspectors for years, but it never dawned on me, like, to consider the opportunity of being one myself, until, like I said, that volume got crazy. And so I looked into it. The first thing that I noticed straight off the bat was the information about how to get into it was too convoluted. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I go here and you saying one thing, and I go there and I go to this forum, and it's like, it's way too convoluted. It's different in every state. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my specific state and all that kind of stuff. And so I finally got into it. Excuse me, got the education. I was blessed because, again, that my investor background I had at the time that I got into inspecting, I had already been flipping houses, putting them back together for rentals. I was at a very solid foundation in terms of like kind of like construction and how things go as far as the home. And so I got started, and I mean, our business was booming just straight out the gate, again, based upon I already knew a ton of investors, ton of realtors. And like, it was crazy. Business was booming. And then I broke my tailbone and everything came to a screeching halt. I did not break my tailbone at an inspection. I didn't fall or anything like that. People always think that, but yeah, so that's what happened. And I got depressed, like literally like depressed, because I was like, yo, like I just got into this, got it all going, and now they're telling me that you may not be able to walk for a year, for 10 to 12 months, depending upon how everything goes. And so I have to give all glory to God, who just like laid it on my heart to shift into like the teaching. I never wanted to teach home inspecting, never wanted to have a court, never desired any of that. I wanted to inspect and have my own company. And in the quiet and the stillness of my injury, God, like, I just laid it, my whole inspector flow program on my heart. I'll never forget. I sat down at the island of my kitchen one day, and it was coming to me. I wrote it on the back of an envelope, a piece of mail, and it just, and that's literally the program that came to life that, I have today. So I thank God for even, the blessings and all of the chaos and the strife that we know that, we're going to go through, not to get too off into that way, but it's like, we talk about weapons will form, like you gonna have to, like, they gonna be there, like that's not what we're promised. What we're promised is that, it won't work. It won't be able to destroy us. God won't give us more than what we can bear. And my entry into the home inspection business is like a true testimony of that I'm not sure if had I not gotten injured and I was able to keep going, like I probably wouldn't have taken the time and slowed down to teach or to share, this information like I am now. But because that happened, stopped me dead in my tracks. And, I couldn't inspect. And so it blessed me to be able to teach and share with others. And so that's where I am today.
Wow, that is an incredible story. And it just shows your resilience, because a lot of people, once they down, they stay down, unfortunately. Especially, with you having built all those skills that you had, and you couldn't be mobile to act on them. You tapped into your knowledge, like, God tapped you on your shoulders, like, this is what we gonna do now. We're gonna pivot.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Incredible. So how has it been starting a whole course, like starting a whole movement? Because that's pretty much what it is, Nita.
Right. It's been crazy. It's been the greatest thrill and joy of my life and the hardest thing that I've ever done all at the same time. Um just because you know how it is when you start something new, and not only starting something new, starting something that's really never been done before. There's I don't know of, and I looked, I searched, I don't know of any other minorities who are as loud about literally helping people and trying to promote education and community, and all that kind of stuff. As far as the home inspection industry, I haven't, I've met some home inspectors that have been in the game for a while, but they've literally just been inspecting. They haven't, gone off into anything else. And so, you know, like there's no blueprint, so there's no like, well, they did this, and let me tell you, is there's none of that. And so it's been a great ride. Like, I can't lie, I feel blessed to have met the people, my students. Is like I didn't count on, like, meeting these people from all over the country. We got students from all over the country. We got students, our youngest student was 21. We have a student now who's 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hadn't counted on meeting all of these different people and really like forming a bond and building a community, around home inspecting and things like that. And it's just been a joy to watch them start. We've got accountants and teachers and waiters and, people who start with us, and then 20 weeks later, they're a home inspector and they know all of this stuff. And like, watching them start their businesses and market their businesses and, all of the things, it's been a real joy to encounter that. And it's also been exciting to connect with other home inspectors and other just real estate professionals, like you guys, who just see the need and the importance of what we're doing, and, have been, willing to help me amplify the message. I think that's been one of, excuse me, the best parts about this, is just being able to meet so many different people and connect with them, and having them really, the message really resonate with them to the point where they want to share it and kind of amplify it as well. So I'm enjoying myself. I look forward. We just getting started. Like, it's just literally been 1 year. We just had our first graduating class last July of 2021. The first class started February of 2021. So
Wow.
next month will be just 1 year. So we just getting started. So I'm excited about a lot of the things, that we working on and that we're building to, again, have lasting impact in this industry.
That is dope. That is super dope. I feel like I've been following you longer than a year, and that you've been doing this longer than a year.
Yeah, I had to tell Anita, because I've been talking to you since like 2016. I'm like, no, she was a wholesaler that had
Wholesaling.
rental properties at first.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think to kind of go deeper into it, Anita, could you talk about the transition as an entrepreneur that you got to kind of be able to do? Because a lot of times when you hear people, they get into the game, let's say they do rental properties, right? 5, 6 years from now, they still doing the same thing. But it's like for you, it's like, no, you start off in the game wholesaling and now you on the inspector end. So talk about what it's like, adapting and just changing your focus as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's a great question, because honestly, to be truthful, I was tired of teaching wholesaling. So I was gonna stop. Matter of fact, my brother Beyond Win, if it wasn't for him, I would have stopped a long time ago. But we were doing some things together, and so he kind of kept me going. I was over that, because people don't, wholesaling is a lot of work. That's what they don't tell you on the internet. Wholesaling is a lot of work. And if you don't put it in consistently, it's not gonna work. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it got, I was over it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna be quiet. I've done, I've given all the game I can give. I'm gonna just do my thing and be quiet. I was done with the teaching and all of that kind of stuff. And again, the home inspecting thing just, I don't want to say it fell in my lap, because again, I believe it was a God thing, but like, it literally just fell in my lap. And I'm an investor at heart. So I'm always looking for opportunities to get into a thing, add my expertise, increase the value. And like, so I'm always looking for those type of opportunities. And for me, I will say that the transition was not as difficult, because I am just the type of person, when I see a problem, I go into solution mode, and I don't care who doing what and what they gonna say and what they gonna think. I just be like, this is a problem. It shouldn't be like this, and I'm gonna do something about it. And that's how I felt about the home inspection piece. So it became like I wasn't even almost looking at it like a business. Cause like I said, I never intended for it to be all that it is. I looked at it as this is a problem. And what I mentioned earlier about that service, that attitude of service, I was like, nah, y'all not about to keep my people out of this industry because nobody will teach them and nobody will pay attention to not like, it's not gonna go down like that. Boop, I'm gonna do something about it. And so for me, I didn't even really have an opportunity kind of to like consider the transition. It was just like, I know I'm not doing that anymore because I'm burnt out. And now I found a problem and something that I can put, some service behind and make it better. And so that's what I did. I literally didn't look up and realize what was going on until graduation. Until July of 2021, we had our very first graduating class. We graduated 27 students, 20 of them were women, and at the graduation, as I was giving the address, I cried like a baby because it was like at that moment, like I realized, like I looked at them and I was looking at the audience and I was like replaying in my head. I'm like, did we just go through 20 weeks of training and now they inspectors and they know, and that's when it kind of hit me like, yo, like you handling your business, Big Draco. That's what, and so that was kind of like, and from there, I kind of like kicked it up into another gear and, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the transition for me was easy because I don't believe you should wait on nobody to do something that you can do yourself. So
Nice. I love it. That is so dope. I also love the fact that you said that you just jump into it. I know that me and Tremaine, we talk to people all the time about getting into real estate or whatever they want to get into, whatever business, whatever thing. And they always say, but I'm scared, but I'm scared. And that's the most frustrating thing because you can't teach people how not to be scared.
Yeah.
You want to do it because you're propelled to do it or you're compelled to do it or you're not. It's like, I can't spoon feed you courage. And I love the fact that you was just like, I was burnt out from that, so I needed to find something else to do. But the next thing that you're doing, it compels you so much. It propels you forward to keep with the charge and keep with the change. And that is incredible. There's a real estate agent, her name is Janelle, and she does her own inspections. And it dawned on me, I was like, maybe I should learn home inspection because Nita got a course. And I'm the queen of courses. I will take a course because I will pay for convenience.
Me too.
I've been through the inspection process twice. My first inspector was awesome. My second one was trash. He was in that property, a 4-unit for like 20 minutes. It should at least take an hour. And I was just like, I'm probably taking the L on some things because he's not highlighting it, but we're just going to move. So I was just like, maybe I should take this course because, just having that knowledge will make me a better real estate investor. So I thank you for even, stepping out and saying, I'm going to do this because now you're a resource for everyone, not just myself. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You brought up a great point too, like from the realtor perspective, like I was a realtor. I had my license for a little bit at the same time that I was a home inspector. So I definitely think it's an opportunity for realtors and other real estate professions and stuff like that. You can't go wrong with the knowledge and information. Even if your intention is not to build a home inspection company, just knowing like really truly how a house is designed and how it's supposed to function and how everything is supposed to be, that knowledge and that information is really invaluable, especially on the investor side, the realtor side, and being an advocate for your clients and stuff like that. The people perish for a lack of knowledge. And this, like, if you're looking to get into real estate right now, in my mind, there's no better entry path than home inspecting. Whatever your ultimate goal is as far as real estate is fine. But when you're talking about, if you come and see me and in 6 to 8 months, you're going to know how to inspect the house and you will be able to make money. There's not many industries and trades and different things like that you can get into. And I mean, hell, it was a year before I started making any money in wholesaling, and I was just getting the money and the time back that I had already spent. So yeah, I would encourage everybody to consider this. Here's another thing. You don't necessarily have to be the person that is inspecting. We need more Black owned home inspection companies, right? So you could run the company, and then you could have other inspectors up under you who, you basically are just marketing and dispatching at that point. So there are just so many different, once you get into home inspecting, you can go into building inspecting, you can get ICC certified, you can be a Section 8 inspector, I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do once you get in and get the knowledge. So I would encourage you and, realtors and everybody, like, consider getting the information and then figure out how you want to, put it into play for yourself and what works best for you. But you can't go wrong at all having at least the knowledge, for sure.
Facts. And that's a dope play, because me and my husband, we own several properties, and I can hire out, as the LLC, hire my other company, my inspection company, to do the inspections for those properties. So that's a play. See,
and you save yourself money the next time you get ready to buy a property. Just think, if you plan on buying, 5-10 properties over the next 18 to 24 months. If you buy 10 properties and on average $400-$500 inspection, that's another $4,000 or $5,000 that you just saved yourself just from, again, having that knowledge.
Facts. And I'm in Chicago, and the inspections out here are $800. So that would be a huge savings for sure. So wow, that is an incredible story.
Hey, so Nita, so question I have for you, for the person that's listening, that's like, damn, I never really thought about being a home inspector, and now they're interested. Can you kind of tell them, like, kind of walk through the basic requirements, and then just like the steps with taking your course, and kind of how that path goes?
Okay, so here's the deal, right? The requirements are different in every state. So it's hard to kind of like speak generally about it, but this is what I'll say. There are, at this point, 35, I believe, regulated states. By that, I mean states that have specific requirements in terms of getting your home inspector license. And then, 15 non-regulated states. Off the top of my head, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Missouri, Cali, Colorado, these are all non-regulated states. So as soon as you can learn how to inspect, you are able to start inspecting without having to fulfill any specific requirements. Now, for the regulated states, each state typically has a list of approved education where you can go and fulfill your hours, and then you have to take a test, the NHIE test that you hear me talking about a lot, and then you're able to go ahead and get licensed in those states.
Is it a degree or diploma? Is it any kind of like college background that's needed, or is it just
no degree, none of that? Obviously, whatever related experience you have will help, but none required. One of the things that I'm super big on letting people know, because this is one of the other problems, setting the proper expectations, because the information is so convoluted and there's not really anybody that's really setting the proper expectations for, again, non-traditional inspectors, people who, don't come from a background in the building trades or whatever the case may be. For example, in Maryland, the requirement is 72 hours. So you have to get 72 hours of education, and then you have to take and pass the National Home Inspector Examination, or the NHIE. Maryland has a list of places where they say you can go here, you can go there to take the information. But the problem is once you go to a lot of these state approved or mandated educational institutions, they don't provide you with enough information. Again, think about it. If you're coming in off the street and you don't know anything about a house or, the design of it, they don't do a great job at setting the foundations and really teaching people how to inspect. And they definitely, a lot of times, don't do a great job at preparing them for the NHIE. And I know this because I have students who have taken this state required course and they get a different book and the course is a week long. And it's like, how in the hell is somebody supposed to pass the NHIE after a week of, class, and we're not even focused on the test material? And so that's one thing that people don't know and is not being said, and it's really a problem that these states have these educational schools or whatever in place, and they require people to go there, they require them to pay, but then the schools don't adequately prepare them to either pass their test or actually be a competent home inspector. And I have a huge problem with that. And so that was another reason that fueled me to be like, well, I can't tell people to get into home inspecting. And then they ask me, well, where do I go? What should I do? And then I tell you to go over there, and they're not even there. You're going to pay them their money and they still not going to teach you. And so it's like, well, then if I'm going to tell you how to do it, now I also got to teach you how to do it. And so that's where Inspector Flow and me developing, basically what I did is I developed my own curriculum that started at day one. The NHIE textbooks, again, they don't do a great job of setting the foundation. You open up page 1 of plumbing and it jumps right into the different types of plumbing materials and this, that, and the third. And it's like, wait a minute, what if somebody doesn't even know how you get water and how the residential plumbing system even works? Right. Did you ever think about that? So that's what my curriculum does. It starts at day 1 and we learn, how do we get plumbing? How do we get electrical? How do we get heating and cooling and all these different things to, build the information is comprehensive to build on it. As far as the second part of your question was about the course.
Yes. So okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, so I just want to stop because you made a great point about how the information out there was lack thereof, so you had to come and create it. My question for you is, how was it creating digestible content and information for those to digest, knowing how much out there was missing when it came to, being an inspector?
How was it?
Yeah, how was it creating content to be digestible? Because what you were saying, it seemed like it was so much out there that was missing.
Yeah.
That when creating the course and curriculum, I know it's so much out there to put in at one time. And how was it just like creating all that for the average person that doesn't have any understanding of inspection or being an inspector to kind of understand?
Honestly, it was fun. It wasn't as hard or as difficult as it may sound. I believe that I got a gift for that. Like I'm a good teacher. I'm a good coach. Like I'm able to break things down in a way that, people are typically able to understand. And I bring a certain level of like tough love. Like I don't play for real. like I don't, so it wasn't that hard. And I have to give some love and some shout out to my students because they helped me develop the curriculum kind of like in real time. You know what I mean? It's like I would prepare my lesson and then I would deliver the lecture and all that kind of stuff to them. And then based upon their response and what they picked up and then I would tweak and add changes and stuff like that. And so, it wasn't as hard as maybe it sounds. And I knew that it was so necessary. Whenever I think, again, I'm thinking, 10, 15, 20 years down the line when people, will be purchasing my curriculum to teach their inspectors and different things, like that. So I just knew that there was a need for it. We've got to have it. You shouldn't have to have a degree in building science or whatever it is to be a home inspector. You should be able to have been an accountant for 10 years or whatever, like one of my students, and say, I'm kind of tired of sitting in the office crunching numbers. I think I want to become a home inspector and I'm willing to devote the time and money that it takes to learn. I just need somebody who can teach me from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Bing! Then I popped up.
I think it's incredible that you created this course, extrapolated information that's out there that may not be complete, and you made it digestible, like Tremaine said, but it's not a cash grab for you. Like you didn't just take stuff you found on Google or YouTube and just regurgitated it. Like you created something basically from scratch so people can know from A to Z how to become home inspectors. I just love that it's not a cash grab for you because on Instagram, you see a lot of courses about a lot of stuff, and more than likely it could be stolen from another creator. But, just hearing you speak so passionately about it, it's like, you know, people should know it's the real deal. Like they're gonna really come away with either one, being able to be an inspector, or two, being able to start their own inspection business. And that's incredible. That's incredible.
I was blessed to have, like I say, when I started inspecting, even when I started teaching wholesaling, I was already making money. So I've been blessed to, matter of fact, it's like I came up in the entrepreneur game when courses wasn't as popular as they were now. So that wasn't even like a stream or really a thing. Like when I was coming up, it's like you actually had to do what, you know, whatever it was that, you know, whatever industry you were in. And so, yeah, I've been blessed that, yeah, I make a lot of money without dealing with nobody. So anytime I agree to, you know, deal with people and that kind of stuff is literally a labor of love. And I appreciate that. And I also appreciate the fact that at this point in my life, you know, I have access to a lot more resources to help me as I, you know, educate people. I just spent $5,000 in Home Depot putting together toolkits for my students. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have been able to do that before if I was just counting on this course money. It's like, y'all got to buy this course so I can buy this stuff to, you know what I mean? Type deal. So yeah, like all of this is like straight from my heart. I believe that, like I say, it's a God thing. I believe that it's a mandate that I'm supposed to be doing this from God. And, you know, I don't, I made great money without, you know, dealing with anybody. So you're absolutely, I'm glad that you picked up on that. It's definitely not a cash grab for me. You know, that's how I got like my name Cousin Nita, is because it's like, I'm probably the best cousin you got. You know what I mean? Like somebody that just love you, genuinely love you, care about you, want to see you do well, want to be able to see you, you know, turn up for yourself and for your family. And, you know, whatever I can do to assist you within reason, you know, as long as you're willing to put in the work, I'm there, you know, so.
That's awesome. And when I see some of your posts, some of them be spicy, and I'm like, they go that tough love.
Yeah. I don't play. You know, it's like now that I've been blessed to have a certain level of success and stuff like that, and I know what it takes. Like I know what it takes, the sacrifice, I just know what it takes. And I know a lot of people they don't have any clue. Not that they won't put in the effort, but they don't have a clue as to what it really takes to have sustained success, right? And so that was one of the things very early on. There's always been an application process for Inspector Flow. You know, you basically got to jump through hoops to be a part of Inspector Flow because it's very intense. And I don't play, and I will put you out of my program. You know, because it's like the goal is we're building something here, and the goal is not for me to have your money and you for you to sit in my face and not get it. Like I need you to become a home inspector. Like that's the ultimate goal. And so if we're not working together side by side to reach that goal, I'm not interested in, you know, being attached to you.
No, that's dope. That's dope. I think that's a great point because I think a lot of times when people have a business, sometimes people operate, like you said, it's a cash grabs. They operating off of thirst and not really, you know, love, like you said. So they taking anybody in that's, you know, they got the bread. And to have those guidelines out, that's going to help you relieve stress, and it's going to allow you to really be efficient at what you do.
Absolutely.
Question for you. So for the person that's listening, that's like, damn, bro, I'm thinking about doing this inspection stuff. Can you talk about the earning potential of actually becoming one and what it's really like being an inspector?
Oh yeah, the earning potential is crazy. I teach my students what we call the 6-figure home inspector blueprint, which is basically just we look to average one home inspection a day. Again, the national average for a home inspection is $450. And in a lot of places, like Cuz mentioned, is higher than that, right? So if we can figure out a way that we can average, I didn't say you have to work every day. I just said you need to average one home inspection a day. So that's about 360 or so inspections times the national average. You've grossed 6 figures, right? The home inspector, shout out to Charlie K from Michigan. She's a female inspector out there. We sat down yesterday and talked, and she's averaging 40 inspections a month. 40. Wow. That times is $400. Not to count Charlie's pockets, but You asked me about earning potential. Yeah. And the average day is like you're on average, you're gonna, you typically don't do any more than 2 home inspections a day, typically, maybe sometimes 3 during busy time. You typically get paid before you show up. The home inspection is going to take about 2.5 hours, depending upon the size of the property, maybe another hour or so to complete your reports. So you're talking about less than 4 hours, of work. And flexible schedule. Obviously, real estate is a 24/7 business. So you might get a call from one of your realtors, on Friday, hey, we need this inspection tomorrow or Sunday or whatever the case may be. And so you want to be available to take care of that. But yeah, the earning potential is crazy. And this is not, there are a lot of like side hustles out right now. And I appreciate that. I love that. But this is a trade. You remember when they took trades out to school? Remember how some used to graduate high school with learning carpentry and all these different kind of things, and then they somehow just wiped it out of the schools. This is home inspecting is a real life trade. You can go anywhere in the country and be a home inspector, within, again, 6 to 8 months. So the earning potential, is crazy. The startup costs are not that expensive. Your biggest cost should be education. You can get, your basic toolkit for about $500. Start out using your own car, start your marketing, and you in business. And one thing I love about it is that, again, on your very first day of work, you made money. You can make $1,000 your very first day as a home inspector. If you book 2 home inspections and they're both $500, which again is like very not hard to do. That's my very first day. You still wet behind the ears. I've made $1,000. So um, the earning potential is crazy.
So do you have a business, Nita, that you are that all of your students are under you, where someone can go online and type in cousinnita.com and look for an inspector in their state? Do you have something like that?
So not as of yet, but I plan on. So out of we've got 5 out of 11 students who've passed their national exam who are in those required states. And so I'm waiting for a few more of them to pass before we drop the roster. And in some of the states like Maryland, we got a student or two who's still waiting on paperwork and stuff like that to come back for licensing. So kind of still working on just getting all the way official. But yeah, a roster is something that I definitely plan to have. I'll let y'all know. It's like an exclusive for y'all podcast. I created the National Black Home Inspectors Association, which is a nonprofit organization whose mission is again to promote education, and community among specifically Black home inspectors. And so that's one of the things that we will be offering as a part of the association, is a directory for investors and also realtors to be able to go right there and find an inspector in their area.
Did you hear that, y'all? That's an exclusive.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right. So where do you go from here? So like what's next for you? You got the company growing. So kind of like what's your plans for the future?
So I'm gonna be rocking this inspector flow thing. I got like a 7-year plan. I've got like the next 7 years mapped out, some things that I want to do. Just building out and scaling the school part of it. So right now, again, we do 20 weeks live that I teach. I'm adding the self-study curriculum. Like there are different things that I'm adding so we can reach more people. Again, inspector flow is super intense, so it's not for everybody, but I still want to be able to provide some education and be a resource for people. So I'm going to be developing that. The association is something that I'm going to be working on. Hopefully we'll have like a little situation in the later on in the year, provided COVID, is cooperative. So all things that are home inspector related, from an educational perspective, from a social perspective, and just kind of like trying to make the industry better, trying to improve the industry, being of service to the people that belong to the communities that I belong to. So you'll probably be seeing me like beat the inspector flow situation to death for about the next 5 to 7 years. Then after that, this is also something I've never shared before. After that, I plan to I want a funeral home. Like I want to do like a new age funeral service, like kind of like the digital side. So that's like my, in my 40s and 50s project. So
Another exclusive. Get down on.
Facts.
That is incredible. As you're talking and, I just hear your passion. I can see this curriculum being in high schools, like you introducing, this is a low cost way to add a trade back to the school. So, because a lot of kids can't go to college or don't want to go to college, this is a great alternative for them to get into. With the shortage with COVID has really affected the Black community in a way that is going to reverberate for a long time. I don't know if I said that word right. That's what I'm saying. Because the kids had to stop going to school because they probably didn't have good internet or good to attend classes. So where do the kids go from there? If they have access to your course, whether at high school or the YMCA, whatever type of outreach program you want to partner with, they have access to it. And I think like I could just see this being a nationwide thing. And it's just like so amazing that you started this thing from a incident that you had, when you could have just been like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you kept it pushing. And it's just like, now you got this huge movement, and that is incredible. Like how many people can say in a lifetime that they started a movement, So
right.
Kudos to you.
I received that being in schools across the country part. Don't skip over the prophecy. I received that. that's honestly, like I said, that's what I only want to devote my time and energy right now to things that will outlive me, right? So I want Inspector Flow to be bigger than me. When you hear Inspector Flow, like you don't gotta hear my name or associate me. I just want you to know that's somewhere that you can go to get educated, in terms of becoming a home inspector. But I want these things, Inspector Flow, as far as the school, the association. We didn't have an association for Black home inspectors. Like none of the Black home inspectors knew about each other. I feel like, I ain't trying to be funny, but I feel like when I came around, I started connecting us and flying to people's cities and meeting them and posting them. And you know what I'm saying? Just so it's like we can know about each other, that we even exist. So that's, the association, I want that to be around for hundreds of years and to continue to be a resource for people. And I want, there are some smaller home inspection companies who are looking to grow and scale. I want them to be able to come to us and get training. Bring your whole team and we can train you. Another area where a lot of home inspectors are lacking is marketing, right? And again, where I got my start in wholesaling is nothing but marketing. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a marketing whiz. That's why you've been inspecting for 15 years, but nobody knows who you are. And I'm new and a lot of people know who I am. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to help, seasoned inspection companies. I want to acquire companies. I want to franchise companies. Like I'm going to do, before it's all said and done, I'm going to try to do, not try, I am going to do it all.
Right. Awesome. I think I'm gonna be in line for that franchise for real, because I'm always looking for a business to buy.
Yeah. You can't, you like, you really can't beat it. You know what I mean? Like being able to buy into a business that is very cash flow heavy. And this is another thing that people don't realize about home inspection is home inspection is not like I have to go out and necessarily sell my services. 80% of all of the home transactions that go on in this country are required to have a home inspector. So that means that people are looking for me at every corner. All of these realtors, we're not even talking about the investors, just on the traditional side of things, they're looking for me, which again means all I got to do is know my stuff, be professional, show up, do a great job, be timely, take care of them. And I'm locked in with them for life. You get you 15 or 20 realtors that are doing 2 to 3 deals a month, and like is curtains, and to be able to buy into that type of business that already has, again, the marketing and the name, Inspector Flow, people will know it, you know what I mean? Like, and it's going to be synonymous with home inspecting and home inspecting education. It's going to be, it's going to be a great opportunity. People are going to be well trained. I know, because I trained them.
No, they get in top tier,
Yeah.
journalism and skill sets. So that is awesome. I'm like in a tizzy. Like, I'm so excited.
Not a tizzy.
So, how much is the course? Because I know everybody's going to want to know what that is. And I'm asking for a selfish reason, because I'm thinking that I might want to sponsor someone that, you may select that may not have the money, or, come halfway with them so they can take advantage of the course. So if you could just speak to how much the course is. We know it's 20 weeks, you said. Is there an age limit for them to get started? Like, can you speak to those questions?
So there are a couple of offerings, right, for people. Inspector Flow, as far as the 20-week live program, enrollment is closed for that right now. We just finished the enrollment process, and we start class at the end of February, and then we'll be going for 20 weeks. But in February, my birthday is February 7th. So in February, I'm dropping the self-study curriculum, which is it's like 13 modules that cover the 10 major components of a home inspection, home inspector business mastery. So that's marketing, operations, all that kind of stuff. And then the third component is that test prep. The NHIE is a very difficult test. You got to be super intentional about how you prepare to pass that. So I combined all of that in sort of like a library of videos, demonstrations, handouts, homework assignments, all of that kind of stuff to help those people who aren't able, again, because 20 weeks is like, that's like the next several months that will be in class. So that will be dropping in February. And actually what I'm going to be doing is I'm dropping sort of like a beta version. Remember I told you earlier, I use my students to help me to develop the curriculum. So I'm dropping the self-study curriculum in sort of like a beta form. And I want to have 100 people, 100 inspectors to get that beta curriculum, go through it, and kind of provide me with some feedback. Where do we need more? Where do we need less? What was good? That whole situation. And once I have it tweaked the way that I want to, I'll be, officially dropping it for the public. But the beta group is only $1,500 to join the beta group. And then you get access to the full curriculum that, covers everything. I also have a free home inspector Facebook group, right? So if you're not ready to, invest just yet into the education, we have the free home inspector Facebook group that you can come and join and ask questions. So I got a couple of different, trying to offer more things on the menu to be able to, to suit more people. There are some people who don't prefer the live version. They want self-study. And, there's some people who are like, I want this, but I can't afford it just yet. So can I get in the Facebook group? So I want to have, again, because the goal is to get the word out there, I try to have as many options for people as possible. So you guys, we'll have to do something special for you guys listeners, get you a code. But yeah, I would love to have some of you guys listeners be a part of that beta group, 100 people strong, get the curriculum. If you want to join the Facebook group, just text FB to 330-625-5286, and we'll get you added to that Facebook group and start the journey. It's beautiful. Home inspecting, like it's a never ending journey of learning. You know what I mean? Like I still read books every day and learn different things and watch videos, and it's an exciting journey to be on. And I look forward. My goal this year is 166, to create 166 inspectors. So that's how we rock it.
Right. So, guys, we are going to have all of this information about the home inspector flow in the description of the podcast, and we will offer the discount code that, for our listeners, it's exclusive. So you want to jump on it if you're interested in starting your own business or learning about this lucrative industry, or just, having a side hustle. You want to get on it. Like, and any realtors, we have a lot of real estate investors that listen to us. guys, this is something that you might want to add to your repertoire, because, you know, you just never know. You might need to pull a card out and be like, I'll inspect it myself. Mm-hmm. So this has been eye-opening. Like, this has been like the dopest pod that we've had. Like, everybody that we've had, it's just like, it just gets greater and greater. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to just, one, create something that is just monumental. That's just incredible, because a lot of people would have folded, you know, going through the circumstances you've gone through. And you're just so passionate about, you know, our community having a part of something that we just didn't even know that you could be in a home inspection, you know. So to me, it's like a no-brainer, you know, an industry that needs this to close the deal. Yeah, you need to get into that. So I don't know if you had anything else, Tremaine, but my mind is blown. I need a break. I need to go take a nap.
For sure. Thank you, Nita, for coming on here. We appreciate you. It's like a lot of time. I know you put a lot of time into this inspection thing. These people that's listening, please, if y'all got any questions, we're going to have this, her socials in the show notes so you can follow up. But for those that might not be looking at that, where can people find you at? They want to contact you.
You can find me on Instagram at HouseHunter216. I'm also on Twitter at HouseHunter216. You can shoot me a text. That 330 number is really my number, 330-625-5286. Just a click away.
Well, thank you again, Nita. We appreciate you. Everything you saying was needed, urgent. And like I said, for those listening, if you got a thought about getting into real estate, inspection is not a bad phase, man. You got to do that every time a transaction happens. So it's like, hey, why not?
Facts. Thank you so much, Nita.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. You take care. All right.
Phil, y'all want me